pensioners find themselves in a precarious situation, heavily impacted by the relentless rise in council taxes and the unsettling removal of financial support. This confluence of challenges has rendered it increasingly difficult for them to afford even the most basic necessities of life. Such dire circumstances not only burden their daily existence but also raise serious concerns about their overall well-being. In the midst of these struggles, the allocation of funds for foreign aid continues to spark widespread criticism, especially regarding Keir Starmer's priorities. Many feel that the urgent needs of British citizens should take precedence over aid directed towards foreign nations. The juxtaposition of these financial choices creates a poignant dialogue about the role and responsibility of government in addressing the needs of its own people. Meanwhile, farmers across the nation grapple with severe challenges stemming from changes in inheritance tax policies, putting cherished family farms at grave risk. This shift has ignited a firestorm of anger and frustration within the farming community, as generations of hard work and dedication hang in the balance. The emotional toll of potentially losing their family legacies is palpable. Moreover, the potential changes to tax policies could lead to a wave of sales of family farms, threatening the very fabric of rural communities throughout the UK. The implications of this loss extend beyond agriculture. They ripple through local economies, impacting businesses and livelihoods that depend on the stability of farming practices. The intertwining of these communities underscores the essential role that agriculture plays in the broader economic landscape. Amidst these economic strains, Starmer's commitment to allocate £3 billion annually to support Ukraine has raised eyebrows and sparked concern over his focus on foreign aid rather than bolstering the UK's own military defence. Critics argue that such a financial commitment neglects pressing national security needs, emphasizing a growing chorus calling for prioritization of domestic over international obligations. As if amplifying these concerns, the looming threat of potential tariffs on British steel exports by Trump casts a long shadow over the steel industry, jeopardizing thousands of jobs and the viability of domestic manufacturing. This precarious situation reflects broader economic vulnerabilities under Starmer's leadership, drawing attention to potential weaknesses in navigating international trade dynamics. These proposed tariffs might trigger a tumultuous trade war, with repercussions affecting both the UK and US economies. As retaliatory measures loom on the horizon, there's a palpable tension that could escalate further, plunging both nations into deeper economic instability. The stakes are undeniably high, and the economic landscape hangs in the balance. The impact of steel plant closures resonates far beyond the immediate loss of jobs. It ripples through families, local businesses, and entire communities. Economic downturns have cascading effects, leading to struggles in schools and the unfortunate closure of local shops, ultimately altering the fabric of community life. The interconnectedness of these issues paints a stark picture of the challenges many face. In a bid to adapt, the UK steel industry attempts to embrace greener technologies, striving for sustainability in an increasingly tough environment. However, they face a dual threat from these tariffs. Without adequate support, their noble efforts toward sustainability may face ruin, leaving a crucial sector grappling for survival amidst looming uncertainties. Concerningly, the revelations from the Labour minister's WhatsApp group have indicated a disheartening lack of respect towards pensioners and veterans, those who have selflessly served the nation. Such offensive remarks not only reveal a troubling mindset but also raise significant questions about the party's commitment to public service and the values it espouses. Keir Starmer's failure to address this escalating scandal presents a broader issue of leadership weakness, exemplifying a disconnect with the very values the party claims to uphold. His inaction thickens the air of doubt surrounding his ability to govern effectively, as observers question whether he is truly capable of leading in this turbulent political landscape. Adding to the atmosphere of discontent, criticism from within Starmer's shadow cabinet signifies growing unrest and dissatisfaction with his leadership style. Members are increasingly vocal, demanding accountability for the offensive messages exchanged among party officials. This internal turmoil stands to weaken the party's credibility and cohesion, a challenging reality as they navigate their path forward. Isolation within the confines of a prison can plunge individuals into a dark abyss of anxiety and mental health struggles. With the absence of meaningful human interaction, the mind can spiral into a state of paranoia, often giving birth to haunting hallucinations that blur the lines of reality. Amidst this turmoil, the debate surrounding Tommy Robinson's imprisonment unveils a spectrum of opinions on human rights. Critics vehemently argue that, irrespective of his past actions, the conditions he endures are nothing short of inhumane. A stark reminder of the moral responsibilities we bear towards all individuals, even those whose actions we may condemn. As political discourse unfolds around Robinson's situation, it mirrors the broader societal tensions simmering beneath the surface. Influential figures from across the spectrum have publicly taken sides, illuminating the deeply polarizing nature of the dialogue surrounding extremism and individual rights. The denial of basic rights, such as the ability to purchase food, brings to the forefront ethical dilemmas pertaining to inmate treatment. The implications for Robinson's health are particularly alarming, raising critical questions about the standards we uphold for human rights behind prison walls. Furthermore, Robinson's claims of being subjected to punitive measures following a routine phone call with his son highlight a pervasive issue: the restriction of communication for inmates. This raises profound inquiries regarding the fairness and transparency of prison policies that govern such interactions. Compounding these distressing issues is the cancellation of family visits, often executed without explanation. This lack of clarity adds to the emotional turmoil experienced by inmates and their families, potentially leading to devastating effects on mental health and the fabric of familial relationships. Visiting hours in prisons serve as vital lifelines, particularly for children reliant on these encounters for reassurance and emotional nurture. These interactions play an essential role in alleviating feelings of isolation, underscoring their importance in the broader context of inmate welfare. The abrupt cancellation of such visits casts a long shadow of emotional suffering, extending its reach beyond the prisoners to their loved ones. This reality emphasizes the urgent need for transparency in prison visitation policies, a necessity that cannot be overlooked. Tommy Robinson's predicament ignites critical discourse about the delicate balance between safeguarding free speech and ensuring public safety. His supporters argue passionately that his imprisonment constitutes a violation of individual rights, sparking significant tension within the public narrative. The characterization of Robinson as a political prisoner complicates the landscape further, shaping public sentiment and potentially galvanizing movements advocating for his release. However, this contention remains fraught due to a lack of concrete evidence pointing to political motivations behind his incarceration. Currently, Robinson's imprisonment for contempt of court has ignited a flurry of allegations regarding punitive measures imposed upon him, notably limiting access to family communication. These allegations provoke ethical inquiries into the standards of treatment one should expect within the prison system. While prison regulations stipulate that inmates should maintain familial contact, violations of these rules can result in disciplinary actions. Robinson's complete obstruction from communicating with his family raises serious concerns about the fairness and proportionality of such punitive responses. In the backdrop of this discourse, a contrasting narrative emerges, depicting the potential for further decline under conservative leadership against the promise of progress and rejuvenation brought forth by a transformed Labour Party. This sets an ominous yet hopeful tone as the election looms on the horizon. Amidst this political landscape, the critical need to separate the realm of political leadership from the judiciary becomes increasingly clear. It is imperative that legal matters are shielded from political influences, thereby preserving the integrity of our justice system. Lastly, Keir Starmer's position as Prime Minister is portrayed against the canvas of national governance, reminding us that while his influence is significant, he does not directly wield control over individual prison conditions. This distinction is crucial in maintaining the independence of our judicial processes.